What's good, BFM? This is Bigtone coming at you from Bigtone Productions, Beats and Feasts. You know what time it is. It's time for another video, but today we're just going to do the beats portion of it. During this crazy time that we're pretty much always on lockdown for the next couple weeks, maybe the next month, who knows, but decided to do some music for you. So I'm going to basically just break down one of the beats that I've done recently called Just Because. Showing you what instruments I put into it, and then I'll bring you over to Pro Tools and we'll show you a little bit of the mixing aspect and things that I've chosen that. But yeah, I just wanted to do some music for you, take advantage of this at home time. By the way, all the music that you see on my food videos or on this beat, they're all for purchase, so you can hit me up at bigtone9515@gmail.com. I'll put it on the screen for you, bigtone9515@gmail.com. And hey, we're gonna break this down. And I'm going to play the intro, the hook, and a little bit of the verse for you so you can get a feel of the beat first, and then I will show you the instruments I put in it. So that's pretty much the beat, the intro, the verse, and part of the hook. So I'm going to show you the instruments that I put into it. So the intro keys, basically this. It's a sample, and let me explain the beat and how I came about the beat. It was all based around, the beat was all based around this sample that I found. And the sample basically is this. So that's the sample that's in the track that you hear for the most part. I added my own keys on top of that, and I'll play those for you. It gives it a little bigger sound. That's the two keyboard parts together. So, and then I found a pluck sound that I really liked from Omnisphere. And this is the pluck sound. I'll play it here for you, if I can get to it. And this is basically comes in the hook. Now, if you guys don't have Omnisphere, I suggest you go pick it up. It's a bit pricey, but oh man, you got so many sounds, so many options. It's a great plugin. So that's the pluck that I found there. It's got a lot of decay on it, echo on it. And then the pad sound gives it that eerie 70s, 80s quality that I liked about it. So the pad sound basically is this. And that sound actually is a sound that I believe that sound is an Omnisphere sound as well. So yeah, so Omnisphere is a great plugin. You got to get it. Very simple string, pad type sound. All right, and so after that, on the hook, and only on the hook. Well, I think it comes in portions of the verses as well. No, I think it's just a hook. I'm sorry about that, but I have this little funky sound that I found in Omnisphere again, and it sounds like this. And that's what I was going for in this track. I was going for that 70s vibe. Alright, so that's the little funky lead sound that I got in there. And then we got, of course, you got to have the bass. So the bass, pretty simple. I'll play it for you. This bass is just a standard bass that comes in Native Instruments in Contact. Basic 70s type bass part. Changes a little bit for the verse, longer sustained notes. And then after the bass part, we have, you couldn't do this without a bass slide. So this is a bass slide sample that I found. Basically, it fit perfectly, so I added it. It goes like this. Ooh. Perfect bass slide. I mean, it just comes in right. I mean, and you know, you can't really produce that with electronic stuff and be that pronounced and that realistic. So that's it. And then we got the drums. Of course, we got the drums. Drums are basic. Basic kit. Sounds like a 70s type drummer, 80s drummer. So if you guys know about this, I'm going to point out a few things in the drums that are key to that time period. So drums basically like this. One thing I want to point out right away on the drums is the triangle part. Triangle part is something that's been overlooked over the years. It was very popular 70s, 80s, in a lot of pop R&B music. But in this hip-hop / pop music stage that we're in now, this is a very cool driving instrument that people overlook. And it's the triangle. So I'm going to play that part individually for you. Here it comes. It's on the hook. It gives it that drive, and it's underneath the mix. You don't hear it as much. And I'll play it with the whole beat and try to distinctively pick that out. So there it goes. It's really underneath there. The other sound that I want to bring out is the ride cymbal. The ride cymbal, a driving force in the hook. Just like a real drummer would do, he'd switch over to the ride cymbal during the hook of the song to give it a little bit more oomph and a little drive to it. So I'm going to play that for you. And that's the ride cymbal that's in the hook. So those are your basic instruments that are within this song. I think my computer's having a little CPU issue, so I'm going to do a little restart and come back to it, and we'll finish up the rest of the video. We're over here in Pro Tools now, so I'm going to play the track for you so you can see some of the differences that were added, and then I'll break it down some of the things that I've done in certain instruments just for the reasons of mixing, and you can see here the differences. So I'm going to play the track for you. Alright, so that's the beat. So we're going to start raw right at the kick drum. So the kick drum coming into the track basically just was the raw kick, just as I did it in Machine. So I'm going to disable this plugin, this EQ that I got on it, then I'll show you the kick with it. So playing the kick now, disable the EQ. Solo it out. That's the kick as it came in to Pro Tools from Machine. So I'm gonna enable the plugin now, the EQ that I put on it. So now you hear the difference, and you gotta put it in headphones. If you're watching this on your phone or something, put on headphones so you can hear the differences. So basically in this, I just rolled off quite a bit of the high end off of it. I didn't want all that high end attack. Leave that for some of the high end instruments. So that's the kick drum. Let's move to the snare drum next. The snare drum, I put an EQ and a reverb on it. So I'm going to go ahead and bypass the EQ. And I'm going to bypass the reverb that I got here. So that's the snare drum as it came into Pro Tools just as a raw instrument from the Machine. So you hear it there. So I'm going to put the EQ on it. I wanted to make that snare drum a little fatter, so I brought it up somewhere around 200 hertz. Brought it up, nice curve on it. Give it the thickness I was looking for. Then I needed to have a little bit of verb on it to give it a little longer note, a little longer sustain, fit it down in the mix just a little bit. So the reverb that I chose is an RC48. I like this reverb because it doesn't have a fake reverb sound to me, but here it comes. So it's got a nice roomy boom to it. Not too much. That's the snare drum. Same thing on the clap pretty much. Same thing I did on the clap. Pretty much the same EQ, except for I gave the clap a little bit more high end. So the clap coming into it, let me bypass the EQ. Clap coming into it, let me do the reverb as well. Bypass that. This is the clap as it came into Pro Tools just strictly from Machine. And here's the EQ. So you see I gave a little bit more brightness to the clap. I needed that just so it'll punch through. And then of course I got my reverb that I put on it. Same type of reverb. Give it that spreadness. It adds a little bit to it. Hi-hats, basically I just crisped them up a little bit. Most of my high-end instruments are my hi-hats, my rides, my bells, my triangle in this case. I just crisp them up. I just put a little EQ on it. And I'll turn the EQ off on it right now. So you see how flat it becomes. Then I just put a little bit of crispness to it by adding that high-end 10K boost right there. Gives the crispness I need it. Nothing else to it. I don't even need the reverb on it. I like that sound the way it is. Alright, so we're going to skip over the rest of the EQ that I've done on some of the other instruments. We're going to move down to the bass and show you what I did with that. Alright guys, so the bass. I've got a couple things on the bass that I really wanted the bass to have an older vintage sound. So we're going to bypass these first. I got two things on it. I have the Ozone vintage EQ on it, and then I also put a UAD channel strip on it. And there's a preset in here that I really like for the bass guitar in some instances. This happens to be that instance. So this is going to be with both plugins disabled. And just the bass part. And that's as it just came right out of machine. We're gonna add the Ozone Vintage EQ. It adds a little bit of roundness to the mid-range and a little bit of bottom to it, and gives it that older feel. So I really like that. And now I'm gonna add the channel strip from UAD. That gives some of the, it kind of rounds it over some of the rough edges to it. So I like this EQ that they did with, and that takes away a little bit of the mid-ranginess, and it gives it a little bit more smoothness. So that's what I added to the bass. Not a whole lot, but it does add quite a bit to the mix. We're gonna run down to same thing on the bass slide. I tried to match those up, so I don't want to say anything about that. But the piano was next. Piano, I actually have 3 plugins on this. The first one is an immature that I have from Ozone. The second one is a little bit of reverb, and the third one is an EQ, just a stock EQ. So we're going to disable all of them, and this is the piano, my piano, the portion of the piano that I added, not the sample that you heard earlier. So that's the piano with nothing on it, just as if it came from the machine. So I'm going to add a little bit of the imager. It gives it a lot fuller, a wide range to it. So I really like that portion from Ozone. You can put that imager on it. And then I'm going to show you what I did with the EQ. The EQ, I wanted the bottom end to be a little bit heavier, but I still wanted the brightness in the high end. So if you look at my curve that I have here, I brought it up about 100K. And then I brought it down right at about 3K, 2.5K, and then I boosted it back up around 5K. Let me play that again back at the beginning here for you. And then I gave it some brightness up around the 10 to 12K. So I really do encourage people to understand EQ as in the form of knobs opposed to the graph. Even though the graph is really nice, but the knobs, you start to use your ears, so I really encourage people to do that. Let me add the reverb here so you can hear it. Nice reverb, pull out those outer edges that Immature did. Nice little hall effect. But that's the piano. So that is pretty much, let me go down here. That's pretty much all I did to that. I did EQ all the other instruments. I did EQ those, but just either giving it more high end or low end. Basic things that you guys should all be doing to your mix. But that is the whole track. So I'm going to play it again here in Pro Tools for you from the beginning. And I'll probably just play it through the verse. And I hope that this video really helps some people. I hope that it was informative. But I'll probably do another one of these here soon. But I'm going to play it from the beginning. Remember, you can hit me up at bigtone9515 @gmail.com. All my music is definitely for sale. So hit me up. We can negotiate it, talk about it, and get it done. Alright guys, so here's the beat. This is Bigtone signing off. Peace.